Ja, bij leven wilde hij van heldendom helemaal niks weten. En pas ongeveer 20 jaar na zijn dood ontstond er publieke belangstelling voor dominee Leendert Overduin uit Enschede. En zijn opmerkelijke verhaal wel. Samen met een verzetsgroep redde hij zo'n 1000 Joden uit Twente van de verschrikkingen van het Duitse bewind in de Tweede Wereldoorlog. En even ter vergelijking, Schindlers List kennen we allemaal van Steven Spielberg. Schindler redde zo'n 1200 Joden, dus zoveel doet dat niet van elkaar onder. En nu inspireert het verhaal van die Enschedese dominee ook mensen over zee. In Amerika, in Duitsland. Eerder dit jaar schreven Enschede, Palo Alto, Münster en Heidelberg een essay-wedstrijd uit over die dominee en zijn daden. En de winnaars ontmoeten elkaar deze week in Enschede.
I think for the students, one of the most compelling aspects of this program is the opportunity to connect with their peers. For the American students to meet the Germans and the Dutch and vice versa, and to, to become friends, to have this opportunity to learn about each other while they're learning about history. All those things together, I think, creates a very compelling moment for young students.
You're one of the writers of the essay.
Yes. Yes.
So you dived into the story of Leendert Overduin.
Yes, I did. It was very exciting.
It was exciting?
It was very exciting.
What's exciting about it?
I just found it very inspiring the way he used his position as a pastor to protect other people. I think a lot of people, when they get into a position of power or a position of safety, a lot of times they try and protect themselves first, or they put other people down and bring themselves up. But Pastor Overduin, he brought other people up. He protected other people with his identity, which I don't think a lot of leaders today, they do as much.
When I joined Neighbors Abroad, which is the sister city organization for the city of Palo Alto, this was the first project I got involved in, and I was absolutely just amazed and fascinated by this story of a man whose story could have been huge. He could have been known all over the world if maybe, for example, his story is so similar to like an Oskar Schindler in Germany, where Steven Spielberg happened to make a movie about him. But here we have somebody who was very quiet about what he did. He just did what he thought was right. And it's a very compelling story, I think, for the modern day and for any day.
What did it bring you to write and to study about Overduin?
Currently, for the past few years, actually, I've been in environmental activism and the intersectionality with racial justice and like human rights and all that. And I found it very inspirational. Like, I'm working in social media right now, and the way Pastor Overduin used being a pastor as a shield against the Nazi regime was almost like the way that I want to use social media and like the screen as a protection against, anti-activist movements, so Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and violent movements, and it's a lot safer, and I want to use that to bring other people up, just like Pastor Overduin did.
There's three roles in this story. We've got the Americans, they liberated Europe back then. We got the Dutch, they were invaded. This Overduin guy that had a lot of trouble. And then we have the perpetrators, the guys that did this to us. Did that play a role, as far as you know, with the students interchanging with each other?
That's a really interesting narrative, and I really actually like that. But no, it really didn't play a role. It just so happens, that Enschede has a sister city in Germany, and we are sister cities with Enschede in the United States, or in Palo Alto, California. So it just so happened. But I think it's actually a beautiful narrative, and it is a wonderful celebration of how the world has changed and how we can all come together and learn about the past with an eye toward the future and making sure none of this happens again.
Wie ist das für ihr, hier mit Amerikanern und Holländer über den Zweiten Weltkrieg zu reden? Oder?
Ja, also mir ist natürlich bewusst, dass wir eben diesen Hintergrund haben. Und ich mache mir auch manchmal Gedanken, was jetzt eben zum Beispiel Amerikaner über uns denken, ob sie denken, dass wir immer noch ja, dieses Gedankengut haben wie von früher, aber das ist natürlich überhaupt nicht so. Also,
Jetzt hast du eine Chance, um mit den Amerikanern darüber zu reden, ne?
Ja, also das waren ganz schlimme Verbrechen, die Nazis früher begangen haben. Und
die Holländer haben ganz schlimme Sachen in Indonesien gemacht und die Amerikaner haben auch schlimme Sachen gemacht, aber
besonders mit dem Hintergrund des Zweiten Weltkriegs, ne, das ja, liegt zum großen Teil in der Verantwortung der Deutschen. Und genau.
Completely different backgrounds, right? Americans, Dutch, Germans, European, American. Do you notice a difference? Is there anything, particularly in relationship to this story as well, right?
I think we are all humans. We all have the ability to be empathetic and distinguish like right from wrong, hurting a person versus not hurting a person. I really believe that everybody here is able to see that and empathize with the people who were hurt. I don't see a difference. I believe everyone.
People are people.
Yeah.
Yeah, with our apologies for sometimes some camera work that's not really tight, but that was the first time we're using mobile journalism with a mobile phone, and sometimes it's just difficult. We're talking further here on the table. Welcome to Ailuen Liu, Rina Cohen, and Monica Schreiber, all three from Palo Alto, California. Isn't that so?
We're from Bloomington, Indiana.
Ah, I see. All right.
Yeah.
So, but you two are contestants. So you wrote the essay, and then Monica, you are one of the how do you call that? Leaders.
Yeah, I'm the liaison, I suppose, the sister city liaison between the city of Palo Alto and the city of Enschede as sister cities.
I see. So, for all three of you, is it first time in Holland?
Second time in Holland.
Second time.
First time in Enschede.
First time in Enschede.
Yeah, second time in Holland.
I see.
First time in Enschede as well.
And for you?
First time in Holland.
First time in Holland. So, what do you think about our country?
I really like it. I think the biking culture is a lot healthier than like the car culture in America. In America. There's also a lot of green spaces. Like our city, Bloomington, has like a lot of trees and like I was worried that flying into a big urban center like Amsterdam, it would be like all gray, but it was very, very pretty.
And for you, you are here for a few days now. We'll be here just a short amount of time. What really stood out the past days for you? What activity?
Definitely the bike culture has been a giant adjustment, but a wonderful one, because I very much admire going to the school and seeing the entire place a bike parking lot, essentially, whereas in the US it would be a car parking lot. So that definitely stood out.
I see, I see. And when we relate to the story of Overduin, your visits, what did you visit and what stood out for you?
Oh my goodness, it's been a whirlwind. We really have hardly had a chance to take a breath. Visiting the synagogue here in Enschede was really a powerful experience. Not only is it an extraordinarily beautiful building, but to learn about the history, to learn about the many hundreds of people who were members of the synagogue in the early 1900s when it was built, and that now there, I think, are a grand total of 35 members of the synagogue. It was just interesting to learn about the history and the present. Yeah.
Well, they say it's one of the most beautiful of
it is beautiful.
Entire Europe.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of synagogues too.
Yeah. So you two, you have been contestants, written an essay. What did you bring to doing that?
For me, the biggest thing that I've taken away from Leendert Overduin's message is just how he helped people of both Jews as well as the children of Nazis, and so he was just pouring kindness into all of his actions, regardless of the stereotypes and the associations with each of those groups. And so being able to come here and interact with German teens as well as Dutch teens has really helped forge connections that we have. If we have pre-existing stereotypes about these other groups, it helps them completely be extinguished and really help form positive future connections.
Were there any stereotypes in your mind about Germans, about Dutch?
Well, I definitely did think that they were very much greener than in the United States. And I know that that has ended up being true.
In their behavior according to nature and energy.
Correct.
So not greener from...
No.
Okay.
But also, I know when we were visiting a class, when we first introduced ourselves, some were like, oh, Alabama, or like that's what comes to their mind. So we've been able to really interact and establish.
So is that what story for you is about? Just learning that whether you're American, Dutch, German, that you're all human and you have to see inside someone.
And we all have so much. We all have so much in common as well. That really, it's more similar than we think when we just think of somebody from a different country.
Yeah, I see. And Ailun, how's it for you? Why did you participate in the first place?
So I actually participated because Rena told me about the competition.
I see.
So it was really exciting to be able to come together. And the documentary was also really inspiring for me. Like what Rena said, that he helped a lot of Jews, and that was amazing. And that I think it said the percentage of survivors in Enschede was higher than in like the rest of the Netherlands. And then he also helped the Nazi children after the war. Mm-hmm. And I think that in like, what I wrote my essay about was that in an age of like social media, that like, we don't see that as much anymore. So Overduin's actions showed that like, he didn't even care what other people thought about him. There might've been people who, obviously there were people who tried to catch him for helping the Jews, and then afterwards there were people who were upset at him for helping the Nazi children, but he was just trying to help children. Yeah. And I think—
What is that? What is that in this man's mind or heart? He's not really that, he's just being himself all the time.
It's amazing to see. I think what the contest referred to it as is civil courage. And I think it was really amazing to see his story, that he just did that for the sake of itself. And like with all the social media, like we're on TV right now, it's really difficult to do good just for the sake of good and not for the sake of like followers or like people liking you. Or,
yeah. How can Leendert Overduin be an inspiration to young people these days, do you think? Because you know him now, but how should this be done? People like him being more inspirational than maybe Andrew Tate or something like that.
I think it really just serves to show that young people should express their morals to the fullest and not be deterred by actions of other people. So how Leendert Overduin continued to just be extremely kind to other people and help out children of all different backgrounds just because he knew that was the right thing to do, and he wasn't deterred by threats, of even up to death threats. He just kept doing what he knew was right.
Yeah. Also, it comes down to, I think, just seeing people as like people and everybody like on the same equal level. Like you mentioned Andrew Tate, like the treating like women as objects, and like that is something that obviously Overduin was like the complete opposite. Like he saw everyone, every race, every nationality as like an equal person. Yeah, exactly, as somebody who deserved his help.
Yeah. I was actually wondering, Monica, how is it in the United States? We as the Netherlands, we are celebrating the liberation every year on the 5th of May. So how's that in the US? Do you have some celebration about liberating us, Europe, yourself from the World War II?
There may be a date noted on a calendar, but no, there are not generally celebrations or events marking the liberation of Europe. Well, I take that back. I mean, we do note D-Day.
Yeah, I see.
When, of course, the landing in France. But I think ultimately, you know, look, except for Pearl Harbor, the war was not fought on American soil, and
it's more our war.
And you know, I think it's not in the as much in the DNA, I suppose. of people. Even like my father fought in World War II, so it was a part of the conversation at the dinner table. And my mother was actually, she is German, and she grew up in southern Germany with bombs raining down on her from the Allied forces. So World War II was a conversation in our household, but I think not so much in my peers. It was already distant past. And that's one thing that to me is so important and appealing about this contest, is this opportunity to bring American students to Europe to get a history lesson that isn't in a textbook, but that's really alive, and to walk the streets where Pastor Overduin walked, and to see the plaques on the ground where people were taken away in the middle of the night. You can't, you can't get that experience in the United States. You just can't.
I see it. So we have to round up the conversation already. It's so short, but what's up for the coming days? What do you have to? What are you going to do in Enschede still? Do you know that?
Well, we're going to explore the University of Twente, and then we are going to go to the recreation center and explore that a little bit, the pool with all of the heat, and continue.
Well, it will be nice in this heat.
Yeah. Enjoy the downtown and the beautiful outdoor seating.
I see. So. I've asked that to you. Actually, well, not really that, but what's the key takeaway from this trip, just in a short sentence for you?
To continue to engage.
What do you take home?
Continue to engage with people of other cultures and be curious instead of shutting other cultures aside.
And Ailuan, for
also
you?
That history is like truly important, and like the effects of history we still see today. Like, it's very easy to just forget it all happened and like look at it on a textbook and it doesn't feel real, but like seeing all these places like Overduin's house and everything, it made it feel a lot more real, and like it really happened.
Yeah, it's just not text, it's real.
Yeah.
Monica, for you?
And yeah, I'll take a little bit of a different tack, because I'm, again, the sister city representative between the two cities. So for me, this contest has just been such a wonderful opportunity to just build further connections between our cities, to make new friends here, and to look ahead to the future and future collaboration. I think that the idea of sister cities grew out of World War II. It was after the devastation of World War II that the idea for sister cities took root. That we could have this connection of this network of cities around the world where individuals could learn about each other and just maybe lessen the likelihood of future wars. So the fact that we're celebrating a hero of World War II. As sister cities is particularly
brotherhood.
Poignant. Yes.
Like that. And will you bring stroopwafels too?
I have some in my backpack right now.
You have them already. Well, thank you so much for being here on your stay. Ailuan Liu, Rina Cohen, and Monica Schreiber. Thank you so much, and have a nice, still few days left in Enschede.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
It was wonderful to be here.